When I moved to the village, everyone warned me about one thing. Don't go near the Rahman house after sunset. At first, I thought it was just another local superstition. Every place has one. A haunted tree, an abandoned well, something people use to scare kids. But this felt different. No one would even say the name loudly. The house stood at the far end of the village, surrounded by tall, overgrown trees. Even during the day, it looked darker than everything around it. Like the sunlight avoided it. I noticed it on my second day. Around noon, when the sun was directly overhead, every house in the village was bright. Shadows were short, clear, except that one. The Rahman house sat in a patch of dim gray, as if a cloud was permanently hanging over it. I asked my neighbor, an old man who lived across from me. Why does that house look like that? He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked at me in a way that made me uncomfortable. You're new, he said slowly. So listen carefully. Some places are not meant for curiosity. That wasn't an answer. I laughed it off. But that night, I couldn't sleep. Not because of fear, because of the sound. At around 2 a.m., I heard something outside my window. A soft scratching, like nails dragging across wood. I got up and looked outside. Nothing, just darkness. But as I turned back toward my bed, I saw something that made me freeze. My window was slightly open. I was sure I had locked it. Slowly, I walked closer. The curtains were moving slightly, even though there was no wind. Then I saw it, a mark on the wooden frame. Long, thin, like something sharp had scraped against it. From the outside, I shut the window immediately and locked it. The next morning, I tried to forget about it. Until I saw the marks again. In daylight, they were clearer. 4 lines. Too straight. Too deliberate. That's when I noticed something else. On the ground below the window. Footprints. Barefoot. But not normal. The toes were longer than they should be. And the marks were deeper than any normal step. As if whatever made them was heavier than it looked. That evening, I went to the village shop. I didn't plan to ask about the house again. But the shopkeeper spoke first. You heard it last night, didn't you? I froze. How do you know? He didn't look surprised. It visits new people first. My stomach tightened. What does? He leaned closer and lowered his voice. It doesn't come inside unless you let it. I felt a chill run down my spine. What are you talking about? He ignored the question. Tonight, he said, if you hear it again, don't look outside. That was the moment I should have listened. But I didn't, because that night, it didn't just scratch, it spoke. That night, I promised myself I wouldn't look outside. But promises are easy to break when something keeps calling your name. It started again around 2 a.m. Not scratching this time. A voice. Soft, calm, almost human. Let me in. I froze in bed. The sound wasn't coming from the window. It was coming from the wall beside it. I slowly turned my head. The wall near my bed was cold. Unnaturally cold. And then I heard it again. Please. Something about the voice didn't feel threatening. It felt familiar, like I had heard it before. I got up slowly and walked toward the window. I told myself I wouldn't open it. But I still looked. Outside, the village was empty. Except for one thing. Standing near the edge of my yard was a girl. She was barefoot, wearing a simple dark dress. Long hair falling over her face. She wasn't moving, just standing there, looking directly at my window. My first instinct was fear. But then something strange happened. The moment I saw her face clearly, the fear stopped. She wasn't scary. She looked lost, sad, almost human. I don't know why, but I opened the window slightly. Who are you? I whispered. She didn't answer immediately. Then she said softly, you finally heard me. My heart tightened. What do you mean? She stepped closer to the light. That's when I noticed something wrong. She wasn't casting a shadow. Not even a faint one. I've been calling for a long time, she said. I thought you would never come. I didn't come to you, I replied. You came to me. She tilted her head slightly. A faint smile appeared. I always come to the ones who can see me. The wind picked up slightly. Her hair moved, but her body didn't. I should have closed the window. I didn't. Instead, I asked something I still don't understand. Why are you here? For a moment, she looked away. Then she said, I used to live in the house you fear. The Rahman house. My stomach dropped. You're dead, I asked. She didn't answer directly. Instead, she said something else. I was waiting for someone to remember me before I disappeared completely. That was when everything should have ended. But I did something stupid. I asked her name. There was a long silence. Then she whispered, Lena, and for the first time, I felt like I wasn't talking to a ghost, but to someone who was once alive. Someone who still remembered how to feel. Over the next nights, she came back. Every night, we talked. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. But she was real in a way I couldn't explain. She laughed softly when I said something funny. She got quiet when I asked about the house. And slowly, something worse happened. I started waiting for her. The next night, I didn't wait in bed. I sat by the window, waiting for her. That should have scared me. But it didn't. What scared me was how normal it started to feel. Around 2 a.m., she appeared again. The same place, same stillness, same eyes watching me like she had nowhere else to go. You're early, she said softly. I couldn't sleep, I replied. She smiled faintly. You won't, soon, I frowned. What does that mean? She didn't answer. Instead, she walked closer. Closer than before, until she was just outside the window. Close enough that I could see every detail of her face. Her skin looked pale, but smooth. Too smooth, almost unreal. And her eyes, they weren't just dark. They were deep, like looking into something without an end. Why don't you ever come inside? I asked. The question slipped out before I could stop it. For the first time, her expression changed. The softness disappeared, replaced by something colder. I can't, she said quietly. Why? She looked directly into my eyes. Because you haven't asked me to. The shopkeeper's warning hit me instantly. It doesn't come inside unless you let it. My chest tightened. So, if I ask you to come in, you can. She didn't answer immediately, but her lips curved slightly. Yes. Something about the way she said it made the air feel heavier. Why do you need permission? I asked. She looked away, toward the darkness behind her. For the same reason you lock your doors at night. That didn't make sense, but I didn't push further. Instead, I asked something else. What happened in that house? The Ramon house. She went completely still. For a moment, I thought she wouldn't answer. Then, slowly, I was taken there, she said. By someone who promised me love. My chest tightened again. What do you mean? Her voice dropped lower. He said I would never be alone again. A pause. And he was right. A cold wind passed through the window, even though it was barely open. What happened to him? I asked. Her eyes shifted back to me. And for the first time, I felt real fear. He's still there. Silence. Heavy, thick silence. Inside the house. I whispered. She nodded slowly. And he doesn't like when I leave. A sudden sound came from far away. From the direction of the Ramon house. A dull, hollow noise. Like a door slamming shut. Her head snapped toward it instantly. Her entire body tensed. The soft, sad girl I had been talking to was gone. Something else was there now. He knows, she whispered. Knows what? I asked, my voice shaking. That I'm here. The air grew colder. Much colder. I could see my breath. Lena, I said slowly, what are you? She didn't respond. Instead, she stepped closer to the window. Too close. Her face now just inches away from mine. And that's when I saw it. Her reflection. In the glass. It didn't match her. Her real face was calm. But in the reflection, her mouth was slightly open. And inside, something sharp. Too sharp. Too long. Fangs. I stepped back immediately. My heart racing. You're not. She interrupted me softly. I told you, I used to live there. Used to. The word echoed in my head. Lena, are you alive? She looked at me for a long moment. Then said, do I feel dead to you? I couldn't answer. Because the truth was, no, she didn't. And that terrified me more than anything. From the darkness behind her, something moved. Not her. Something else. Tall. Watching. Her expression changed again. Urgent this time. You have to close the window, she said quickly. Now. Why? Before she could answer, a second voice came from the darkness. Deep. Cold. Not human. You found someone new. My blood ran cold. Lena stepped back instantly, putting distance between her and my window. No, she said firmly. But her voice was shaking. The thing in the darkness moved closer. Still unseen, but closer. Invite her, the voice said slowly. Or I will. I didn't understand what that meant. But Lena did, and for the first time. She looked afraid. Close it, she whispered urgently. If you don't, she didn't finish. But I already knew. Whatever was out there, was not like her. And it wasn't asking.